National Youth Leadership Training with the Boy Scouts of America. And maybe a little Order of the Arrow at the end. I'm going to tell you everything that I remember learning and experienced from my National Youth Leadership Training, because I've realized I got to go put it on my resume now. A lot of my lessons in life, a lot of my core values stem from that day. One of the biggest things that really stuck with me from this leadership training is that you don't have to be a leader to be a leader. And what do you mean by that? Well, what I mean is that you don't have to be the manager to be a leader of others. You just have to be skilled at what you do and passionate about others. You just have to be caring and compassionate, be able to teach the stuff that you have learned, and try to bring a group of people together. It doesn't require a title. None of it does. And actually, everyone should be a leader in their own right, in their own way. Whether it's socially in friend groups or just financially or such. You have to be able to do that in some way, in some capacity. You can't just be in the sidelines, in the back all the time. That doesn't work. You gotta be better than that. But I would say that the first day I got there, I remember I had a lot of bags, and I believe we were in these permanent tents where let's get back to the front here. We had to hike in with our bags. I had a week's worth of stuff. It was a week-long training, and I had the biggest camping gear. They also said to bring a tent, all this stuff. Oh man, I'm kind of mixing this up with Order of the Arrow. But yeah, I had to bring a tent. I remember that at least. So I brought my tiny one, and it sucks. Man, I got a lot of stories about Boy Scouts for you. Funny story, I got my first tent as a child, and I thought it was the coolest and most fun thing ever. I set it up in my room because I like building forts. So now I had a tent, and I set it up in my room. I didn't even go outside. I mean, we lived in the suburbs, man. Where is I supposed to put that up? But when I moved out to the country, I never opened the tent, but I knew everything was in there. Everything was not in there. I missed half the tent stakes. Oh my gosh, that's a tongue twister. Say tent stakes. Tent stakes. Oh my god. That's so hard to do. But on our first trip, I had to bring a buddy, and I was like, yeah, I've got a tent. And I didn't open it. I didn't need to. The tent was fine, right? My man, I pulled up with this tent. I opened it up, and I realized that it's not as big as I thought when I was little. I was stupid. I didn't even check it. I pulled up, we opened it. I look inside this tent, and I'm going, oh, I gotta put another person in here? Damn. And we made it work, but basically our feet was up in the air on top of our baggage, just like military style, making all the blood rush to your head. Ooh, we were pretty cramped in there, man. That is not a two-person tent. That ain't even a one-person tent. It's not long enough for my body. So you gotta sit diagonal, kinda. If you don't, you gotta scrunch up real tight. It's not a good look, man. It's bad. So since then, I went to Walmart and got a $100 instant tent. And if you've never used an instant tent before, it's kind of life-changing. The only problem is the instant tents are not compact at all. They are big. But I really enjoy their frames because they are not flimsy like the other tents. They hold up better. They're real nice. And, man, they're so... The one I have is for 6 people, which means that divided by 2 is what it's actually for, which is 3 people. 3 people can do perfect in it. And 2 people can do great in it because you can put your gear in the middle, which is really nice. Otherwise, the gear can fit in the bottom, like the bottom of the tent, at your feet. That's completely fine. There's tons of space, and there's a lot of space in between y'all. So yeah, I love that. I love that instant tent from Walmart. I got one for like $100 or $99 or whatever. That's a pretty good steal. And if you're car camping and you're Boy Scouting and whatever, that can be really handy. But if you're backpacking and you're going longer distances, you need something that is rugged and designed, You can't just grab something from Walmart and go on a 2-week hiking trip in the mountains. You're gonna need something that has weatherproofing, that is made for the snow, and is built well, You can't just stick that anywhere. You're not gonna go tent camping. See, the ones at Walmart are designed to go on a weekend trip. And for most Boy Scouts, a lot of us got by with that, first of all, because we're all broke. But even if we weren't, all broke, you don't need the best tent in the world anyways. But let's get back to my gear. I did bring my tiny tent, my minuscule, astronomically small tent, but it was perfect for the trip that we were doing. And it was my only small version tent. And I brought my sleeping bag and my pad and all that stuff. It was pretty fun. But basically they had this big area hall where we had all go together and do leadership stuff and learn things. There was different activities. There was PowerPoint presentations on leadership, and that's where I learned that mantra, I guess you could say, where anyone can be a leader and everyone should be a leader in their own right. We did that marshmallow thing where you got to get it as high as possible on a spaghetti tower or something, and it's got to be as tall as possible. You've got 4 marshmallows and 3 spaghetti sticks, and if you break one, you're cooked. It's kind of like that. It's pretty fun. It's like engineering, problem solving, and also being a leader and coordinating. Whoa, hang on, let's not do that. Let's do this, Being able to redirect people when they're doing something that is definitely wrong. That's a pretty good asset. Anyways, then you walk around a little bit with your big hiking gear, and we have these tents that are set up, and a lot of Boy Scout camps have these tents set up. Basically, they're on a wooden platform, probably double the size of a pallet that you could think of, and the wood is more close together, but it's outdoors, so that stuff is getting old, And And then you've got 2 like military style beds, like cots. Some of them are padded, some of them are not padded, some of them are just kind of like hard surfaces with springs in the middle. They're not comfortable. That's why you got a sleeping bag, sleeping pad, all that. It's better than sleeping on the ground for sure, because you're on elevation from the platform, and hopefully it's new, so there's not roaches in the platform. And then on top of that, you're on their cot, so at least you won't have critters jumping on you while you're sleeping. But I have heard of that. I've had snakes in these Boy Scout tents. Some of them don't close right, and it gets rainy outside, and it start leaking everywhere. It start raining inside the tent. They're kind of open up to the elements, so spiders have no problem getting in. So that whole 3 spiders a year crawl into your mouth while you're sleeping, yeah, I could see that as a possibility out there. Every time you open a new tent, you've got to clean it out, and you've got to try to drop down all the spider webs. But there's spiders in there no matter what. They in there, and you real close to that side of the tent. It'd be fine if it was a big tent and you're on this cot, and it's on the side over there somewhere, but it is right next to you. You roll over in your sleep and you're touching the side of the tent, and you got to get over that fear to sleep in there, because you bundle up in your sleeping bag, and then your head's exposed, the most important part of your body, and you're not trying to get a spider bite. And it's very refreshing to come back to your tent at night and have a nice, clean, closed-off tent where there's nothing in it. That's very nice. And that's why you always leave your shoes at the door, so you don't track in weird stuff. Yeah. Am I still live? I hope I am. Perfect. And first night there, they had these big cans, the biggest can I've ever seen, with no can opener, and it was beef stew. I never had beef stew irregardless before. It was beef stew and potatoes in a can. I was so perplexed, but I cooked that stuff up, man. We got this metal object that kind of was a can opener, but not really, and we popped that thing open, and they had hand sanitizer for us. We'll get back to that later. And I pop open this can and I go, okay, and we make this soup. I'm heating it up, and it ain't heating up right, because it's a big old can of soup. And I salt it up, make it a little spicy for my homies. I think I had some seasoning, black pepper and salt at least. And then I served it up, and damn, I really like canned stew. It was good. Some canned beef and potato stew kind of makes me make it myself, It's hearty, it's good. But then while I was cooking, all of us decided it's really fun to burn hand sanitizer. And it works. You put a little hand sanitizer on the table and you light it. And it's alcohol, so it burns clean. So you don't see the flame because it's light out, it's really bright out. And the blue from the alcohol, the blue flame is very hot. And it's got moisture in it too, so it's not the strongest flame. But what it does burn is very hot and very clean too. There's no smoke, there's no, there's no fuel source for the fire except the alcohol. So it's burning very clean. You can't see the fire. And then, if you kind of put your hands around it, you can kind of see the blue. And if it's at night, you can definitely see that blue. And then everyone was like swiping their hand really quick to put it out, or like smacking it really hard. And it doesn't hurt because it's got moisturizer in it. So the second you put out the fire, the heat is gone, you know? But we were also being very stupid, and it was definitely singeing up that table. It was a strong table, but nothing compares to the sheer will of the Boy Scouts to destroy things. But anyways, that was the first night. And then the next day, I believe there was some sort of rally event, and that was really fun. I couldn't get into specifics, but everyone split into patrols where we're like in a group of maybe 10 or so people, and we have a patrol leader each day, and it rotates. So we have to organize everyone, get everyone together. We got to go to roll call. We got to do this, do that. All right, guys, this is what we're going to do today. You know, you're organizing who needs to make breakfast or food or whatever. And I don't really remember making breakfast. I think we only made dinner or something. I don't know. It is weird. I think it was because the food that they gave to us is like bagels and stuff. Easy stuff. Toasted, cream cheese, good food. Boom, done. When you go into Boy Scouts, if you haven't already, I suggest you do, or go into ROTC if you want to be a geek. But, whoa, who said that? But Boy Scouts, and I'm going to say, Boy Scouts is still amazing. As long as you get in the right patrol, or the right troop. I was in the right troop for sure. I loved where I was at. And I think I had the best experience you could have in this day and age in Boy Scouts. And I got my Eagle. But anyways, we're setting up patrols. So we have a little bit of team spirit, and it definitely shows when we were on our orienteering, I'm pretty sure it's orienteering navigation area. And that was the last trip of the week. You know, let's skip ahead through all the like little activities. The big one was we had a compass, we had our steps, and we had a list of instructions. Walk this way, pace this many steps. And it was like 2,000 steps, 3,000 steps, like what? And we had a compass bearing. And basically we went all over the place. We actually figured out where we were supposed to go because our set of instructions told us exactly where we needed to be. Our starting place was the place we needed to be. So that kind of got screwed up. But anyways, on top of that, sorry, I'm still trying to bring it back. Basically, we had all of our hiking gear with us. We had to bring everything. And you only have one bag, so you brought everything to this through this hiking thing. First of all, because it's part of the event, but secondly, you don't want to leave your stuff in a tent full of hoodlums. I'm not to say that they were hoodlums, but Boy Scouts be Boy Scouts, and people prank each other, people take each other's stuff. You don't want to leave your stuff anywhere you're not attending it. And we don't have bags that were being locked up or anything. Nothing like that. You had your stuff and that's it. But, man, I'm still trying to bring it back. I'm sorry. Anyways, we're hiking around, and finally we go to this place, and then they tell us we need to go back. We found it really quick. I think we are the first ones to find it. And then we ended up walking all over the place, and, you know, they gave us a new set of instructions that were wrong, and just kind of made us go all over the place all day. And then I think we had different places that we are going to with the orienteering, like these stations set up, so when you made it to a checkpoint, you had to like do that thing before you can continue on. And some of it was like obstacle courses or or team building exercises, or something you had to do as a team together, or walk a line straight or something, or yeah, it was pretty fun. But anyways, the team before us, I remember we started haggling on them because my patrol loved the singing. I had at least 2 of my people were solid with it. They give us a book of songs, and part of the training was everyone would be singing. We did it for fun. We did it for the training itself. Everyone had to sing and stuff, and everyone started reciting these songs. Yogi Bear, all that. And we're belting it out, loud as could be, and it was pretty fun. But I just remember, I think we were singing, and we were pissing off the people in front of us because they had no idea what they're doing. So we started haggling on them and say, "Oh, you don't know that? Oh my gosh, man, hurry up, man, we got to do this." I was going off on them, and my patrol as well, and we were pissing them off, and they got mad at us, and we just kept throwing it back at them. It was fun. Trash talking is amazing, but don't do it in a place that people have knives and guns. Just do it in a place where they're Boy Scouts and they're wearing Class A uniform. What are they going to do, fight you? Come on. We all have pocket knives, but we're not going to stab each other with them, although I have heard of that being a problem. But yeah, don't threaten someone else with a knife in Boy Scouts, or anywhere else for that matter. I'm at work, but I do have a couple minutes with you. Anyways, you know what they gave us at the end of our hike? Ramen, which I was very excited about. Because with that ramen, you can cook it, and we did. We cooked it, we ate it. And that night, all of us were hanging out way past our bedtime. And this buddy, he was texting some girl at his high school that lived nearby and trying to get her to come over and stuff, and pissing her off. And pissed off, I think, someone else that she was with. You know what I mean? Mr. got cheated on. Anyways, it was such a big problem that they actually somehow contacted the place that he was at, and he had to be suspended. I don't remember him coming back, so I don't know what he was sending, but something happened, and he had to be removed from the camp. So there was that. Ain't no scoring like a woman scoring, right? You don't want that. None of that. That's my ride. Anyways, the next day we started eating ramen dry. You crush it up, put the salt packet in, and you eat it straight up. That's basically the last thing I wanted to tell you. See ya.